It's time. You know what time it is.
Audio looks a little low.
I just found this morning, but I thought it'd be worth starting with.
Is there audio?
Let's see if I can get it up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, look at that kid. How old do you think he is, the little one?
He's like 25. It's like
Yeah, I was gonna say 28, but
that's some Gary Coleman action right there.
Uh-oh. Wait, there he goes. Yeah.
Nice.
I like the Spider-Man shirt.
no
Wow.
knee pads. Wow.
Yeah.
None.
And I don't think there's like a routine to this part.
Whoop.
Oh, maybe I was wrong.
A little bit of freestyle. Ooh. A little bit of freestyling.
Where are these kids from?
I have no clue.
I love the internet.
Nice. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That kid's awesome.
All right, welcome everybody. Time for the Topspin Webcast.
Yeah.
The weekly webcast where we just sit around and answer your questions. So bring it. We got the chat room going right here. How's that for? You'll disappear into the through the looking glass if you look at that too long. Oh shit! I forgot to take theme music.
Yeah. Theme music. Go.
So if you have questions on Topspin front or on anything at all, lay it on us.
Who are we listening to, by the way?
This would be the London Calling 12-inch, then the dub version of Armageddon Time.
It's a flimsy cover.
Yeah, it was, they used to do this with the UK, like 12-inch sleeve. It's actually a 45 as well. Good record.
Sweet. So what's going on? You want to introduce our special guest today?
Yes, please. Right to my left, I have Mr. Brad Barrish.
What's up?
Brad does artist relations, label relations here in our Santa Monica office for us. So, if you are an artist and on the West Coast and interested in Topspin,
Brad will have relations with you.
Brad will have relations with you. Yeah, so we'll talk a little
you
bit
can
of
tune into my hot demo action at topspinmedia.com/demo.
topspinmedia.com/demo. If you listen to that, you will hear a sultry voice, and that will be the voice of one Brad Barrish. And he does the demo live via WebEx every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday for the most part. Once
So
in a
if
while
you-
we skip a Tuesday.
So if you ever have somebody who, you're trying to explain Topspin and they're like, I don't really get it. A picture is definitely worth 1,000 words, and
At least.
a demo, a WebEx is actually worth like 1 billion words.
A billion at least. It takes about 45 to 60 minutes to go through the demo.
Yeah, and it's great. So topspinmedia.com/demo. Brad posts up the latest demos, so you always have the latest. Or you could join it live. And the advantage of joining it live is that people can ask questions at the end, right?
Yep.
Generally. And do you get a lot of questions in that demo?
Yeah, usually. We usually spend the last probably 10 or 15 minutes of the demo actually going through questions.
Right. And what kind of people generally show up at the demo these days?
I mean, we've had people from major labels, indie labels, artists that want to get signed up. It really runs the gamut. So yeah, I mean, we've even had people from like MTV and Facebook on, I think, a couple of times.
Right.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And is it open to any old person?
Open to anybody. We've got 25 spots each week, so it tends to fill up. But other than that, yeah, there's nothing saying that person can't join.
You don't need to know a secret knock or something?
No secret knocks, no secret passwords, nothing.
All right. Wow, Gary Brotman is in our chat room right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's up, Gary?
Andy Dresser from Paid also.
What's up, Andy?
So,
Chandler for Music Geek Services.
yep, Chandler. course. Chandler has been doing write-ups for us and posting them on the blog. Really, really, really appreciate it.
And he runs that site, the Topspin Hint site.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Topspin
Tips. Yeah.
It's good.
Cool site. Yeah.
But thank you. We really appreciate it. Hey Gary, we'll deliver you the nostalgia. Hey Gary, wasn't I supposed to get something in the mail from you? There you go. Thanks, Chandler.
So.
All right, so let's take a look at these questions. What's Stone asking? Is there a YouTube link for the video for which video, Stone?
I think for the hot.
Demo.
Oh, for the breakdance video. Yeah, pass
or
that
for the
along.
demo. I think you might mean demo.
No, he probably means the breakdance action.
All right, I'll pull that up in a second.
Demo, you can just go to topspinmedia.com/demo. And
Yep.
is that you put that up on YouTube or Vimeo these days?
It's on both. It's on Vimeo and YouTube. Also, we post it on our Topspin Facebook as well.
No worries on the package. What's up? Derek Allen in the place. Nice to see you, Derek. How's your Topspin account? How's Vegas? How is Paris, France in Vegas? Most specifically.
It's funny that you're asking him questions, and he's going to reply on text, and no one watching or listening to this will be able to hear his reply. We'll see
Yes,
it.
that's true. Well, you know. All right, so Corey is asking about the extension class, the UCLA extension class. It's great, man. It's actually been really fun.
I need to come visit.
You should come.
Jeff invited me yesterday.
Yeah, you should come anytime. Well, I can give you a syllabus so you can see who's coming. Lincoln Park is actually going to come to the class. I probably shouldn't say when because maybe people will just start showing
yeah,
up.
seriously.
But yeah, Brad and Mike are going to come to the class. It's incredible who we've had. I mean, we're going to have Irving Azoff and Michael Rapino. This past week we had managers. We had, I'll just take this off. This past week we had Ian Montone, Mark Pollock, and Andy Gould. Andy Gould is basically a comedian.
Yeah, he's funny.
You know, they were talking about, I mean, Andy Gould, just for those who don't know, has managed everybody from Guns N' Roses, Danzig.
Yep.
There's some good rock 80s rock bands he's managed. Still manages Rob Zombie for a long time. He used to manage Morrissey. I mean, just between Axl and Morrissey,
who
he's had
hasn't
some of
managed
the
Morrissey?
most difficult. I think Ian Montone actually managed Morrissey as well.
Did he?
For a minute? But they were in the class. They were the managers panel, and it was great. It's really, really interesting how management is changing. A couple things that they mentioned. One is all of the label functions that they're taking on. Management companies that now have radio people on staff. I mean, everyone on the panel has their own radio people on staff. Mark Pollock works at Hits, so here you have a radio promotions company that's actually become a management company.
Todd was just in yesterday.
Yeah, and Todd Hensley was in yesterday talking about a big artist they're about to sort of unleash again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the management world is definitely interesting, changing, and still where the action is.
It's funny, like I've had some artists recently that have been off labels for a while. These have been artists that have been kind of on their own, and they're looking for their basic question is, do I sign to a label or do I get a manager? And it's interesting because to your point, a lot of managers are actually taking on kind of the role of assembling a team that essentially does label the job of labels. Well,
and it was a really interesting panel because you had you have Ian Montone on there, and Ian, for those who don't know, he used to be a lawyer. I knew him when he was at the Drive-Ins manager. He was the White Stripes manager, which I was at Grand Royal at the time. He actually brought the White Stripes in when they were before they'd signed to Warner, and then he became the White Stripes manager, and he became a manager through that path, and he's managed everybody from the Shins, the Kills. Who else? Who are some other? He manages Rat-a-Tat. I mean, he has an incredible roster of great, credible, independent rock artists. He manages Foster the People, and that was one of the things I was asking him because he's got Broken Bells, and he's got Foster the People, and both of whom are now on Columbia, right? And new signings to Columbia, bands that he has signed to Columbia in the past year or two. Yep. So one of the things that was so interesting on the panel, we asked them, should you sign to a label? This question that artists are constantly asking. And everyone on the panel said maybe, but they all said, wait as long as you can, right? Don't you're not in a race to sign to a label. And I really think that's the most interesting thing that's happened in that world, is that it's not a no, you shouldn't sign to a label. I mean, as Ian said, like, look, Columbia does a good job. They have good people. The deals work for him. They're not the deals aren't offensive. He's a lawyer. He's seen every deal there is to do. Right. So he's not getting a shitty deal out of Columbia. And he needs the help, right? He wants someone to help him work the record. But they're definitely not. They're not in a rush to get a band signed, and they do have the people on staff to get it to the point that it needs to be, to where it's interesting to somebody.
Did he talk a lot about the economics and like how they've changed over the last 10 years or anything?
No, it would have been a great question, but we didn't get into the specifics of it. I'd like to have some folks like that here on this webcast.
I'd love to know that, like just like financial terms, like how have those changed? Obviously, they're not giving as big of advances anymore. Yeah. But like, how have the terms changed to like kind of slide with that, right?
Well, he did say, I think it was Broken Bells that he was talking about, but he made the decision to go with Columbia over Warner because he didn't want to do the 360 arrangement that Warner wanted him to do. And that worked. And there we had Dave Marcus in the class as well, and he talked about the 360s and who and when it does work.
Yep.
So
was he on the same panel, or was this a previous
No,
class?
a couple weeks ago we had Dave Marcus. And then we also had Tom Sturgis on
publishing.
On Wednesday night talking about publishing. Tom runs Universal Music Publishing, which is the largest publisher. And he was attempting to explain publishing. I have to be honest, like I still have questions, even after the time I've put in, which is not insignificant. And having explained to me multiple times, I could do a pretty good job giving a lecture on publishing, but there are still holes for me. So.
Even after a short stint doing like working in film and music and stuff, I still have questions. It's like the most complex and complicated kind of area of the music business that I probably know the least about.
Well, the interesting thing was, Tom started out by saying, and I'm not sure that he's wrong, music publishing is an incredible and beautiful business because you get paid always, everywhere. Anytime music plays, you get paid. Yeah. What he wasn't so good at communicating, though, was what a publisher does and what the value is and why you should sign with a publisher, apart from getting an advance. I think the obvious answer is you need someone to collect that money for you and argue on your behalf when money needs to get collected. But apart from that, it doesn't. It's like an investment bank in a way. So anyway, the class is great. Thanks for asking. I think we're going to do, I'm not sure what we're going to do in the fall, but we're going to have, I think, a new set of classes in the fall here in LA. So, pay attention for that. It's totally worth it. I think, it's definitely.
How much is the course?
It was like $500 pre, there was an early thing, it was $500 and it was like $6 something after. All right, let's see. Any feelings about the purchase of Warner? That's a super question one. Oh, it's Trey from University of Colorado. What's up, man? It's a really interesting one. I mean, looks like Warner's sale is imminent.
It happened this morning.
Oh, it happened?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Who bought it?
Blavatnik.
Yeah. Oh, that was sort of what it was.
That was to be expected.
Yeah, that was what everybody's leading choice was. But it's interesting. I actually thought that the Paradigm guys would be a more interesting choice. So, yeah. Well, I got the news right here.
Sure.
I'll tell you where I was this morning, not getting the news. I was at my daughter's preschool,
I saw the picture on Facebook from Julie.
Yeah, Money Mark played at my daughter's preschool this morning. Cool. So yeah, I was not looking at the internet this morning. Wow. Well, and do we have any idea what the plan is?
Not yet.
Because it seems to me that the options are either sell it off in pieces, right? So you'll get recorded music will go to one of the other majors, and publishing will go to the highest bidder, or and that might be his plan. I talked to somebody else who had put a bid in, who dropped out on Monday. I won't say who it is, and it's a money person who was involved, and their opinion was, from a money perspective, that's the smartest move. If you're buying it for $3 billion or slightly more, you could actually sell off publishing for pretty much that much. Sell off the recorded music bit to one of the majors and actually do pretty well on the transaction. That was their opinion, at least.
Pretty interesting that the single parts are actually worth more than the sum of them.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and that's always been the case. That's it's the same with EMI. Roger Faxon has said we're not separating publishing and recorded music, and that's really because it's clear that recorded music would be a fire sale, and publishing would go to the highest bidder. Mm-hmm. That's just the way the assets are valued. Yeah. So the interesting thing will be to see if the buyer is now going to go try to buy EMI and create some economies that way, or if they'll sell it off to the existing labels. So the question is, are we going to have a year from now? Are we going to have 2 labels or 3 labels, 2 or 3 majors? It's not that long ago that we had 5 majors, but now I think you're either going to have a combined. This is just me talking. What the hell do I know? But it seems like you're going to have either a combined Warner EMI. Don't know if that's a smart play or not, or EMI and Warner are probably just going to end up going to the other majors. Which will be really interesting. So, if anybody has any opinions, throw them in the chat room, and we'll read them out.
In other news, Edgar Bronfman bought a penthouse for $15 million yesterday.
He did?
Yeah, Park Avenue penthouse. Yesterday.
$15 million. That's not
apparently a fixer-upper.
Yeah, that's not huge. It's not that extravagant for Edgar Bronfman. Edgar. Invite us by.
Yeah, have a barbecue.
Yeah, come on. We don't eat much. Have you seen the Fight for Your Right to Party video? We won't be like that, I promise.
Sledgehammers, pies.
Yeah, we are all on the same team here. We are on
the no sledgehammers, no pie throwing
team. Yeah.
If you haven't seen that video, you have to watch it.
Yeah, just go to BeastieBoys.com. The full length is up. Yeah. So I actually saw that in the theater.
Big screen
on Monday
night.
Big screen, and they played Fight for Your Right to Party first.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Which is pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen Fight for Your Right to Party videos since
1986. Yeah, I can't remember.
And I saw it on a big screen. It's funny how many people you recognize.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people in the Beastie Boys world, Ricky Powell and Say Adams, and it's pretty funny. And then Beastie Boys were there. They introduced it ahead of time, and then there was a little after party thing afterwards. It was pretty.
I heard it was very Hollywood.
It was actually not very Hollywood.
I know.
Which was the hilarious part. It was so funny. The Beastie Boys are so not Hollywood. So here you have this movie, which is literally like the biggest ensemble cast. Name one that's bigger.
Right. Well, yeah.
In anything ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
like a.
You're probably not the right person to answer that question, given that you
true.
really do not watch movies.
That's true. I'm not going with the moving pictures.
Was that the first movie you've seen in like 10 years?
Definitely this year. I don't know if it counts.
In a
30 minutes long.
How about in a theater? Then it's like then it's on, right? How long's it been?
I don't know. A while. Year and a half maybe. But then they have this party afterwards, and there was not a single star there. Saul Masakela was there, which I thought was pretty cool. Who else? Anybody else? Who was there? Was Atticus Ross.
He's a star.
Yeah, he's an
Academy
Award winner. Yeah. All right, let's see. There was another question
Lauren
here.
Kish asks about some details on the partnership with record label.
Oh,
about,
cool.
how we put the offers together, whether they're
That
exclusive.
just launched this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, recorddeals.com, RCRDDEALS.com. First deal is a really great deal on this Band of Horses box.
$49.
Yeah,
right?
when it kind of comes with a T-shirt that is just now available. So it's actually a killer deal, killer box, T-shirt. I'll tell you how the record deals thing came about. We collect a lot of email addresses for artists every day, and we absolutely do not use your email addresses for anything. We just don't believe in spamming people. Period. We don't want our artists to spam people, and we are not going to send people unwanted email. But what we started doing is we started thinking, well, we're touching a lot of consumers. We're actually touching tens of millions of fans a month, and we said, wow, it's just a lot of people. We could really do something with that aggregate reach. What could we do that would be valuable and something that people would actually want? So we started collecting email addresses, not knowing what we're doing with them. We started collecting them by, at the end of the purchase flow, after you buy something from Topspin, there is a link that says, I would like to know more about, please tell me about great deals on music, right? You as an artist actually can turn that off if you want. If you don't want that on there, that's fine. You can turn it off. We'd like it if you leave it on because it's actually good for everybody if we can start to collect a list of people who like music and really like to buy music and like to buy collectible stuff. But we've been collecting this, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. You'd be surprised how many people click on that. I mean, if you're a music fan, like me, you might click on something like that. Okay, yeah, I want to know more about great. Tell me when there's a good deal on music. But we haven't done anything with that yet. With any of those emails until yesterday. Yesterday is actually the first time we've ever sent an email to that list. And what I really wanted to do is I didn't want, you think about, okay, what can we do with all these emails? I thought, well, one thing is we know what people bought, so we could target things at them. But you know what? I just think people hate unwanted email, period. Even if you might actually like it, just getting something you didn't ask for in your inbox is offensive.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, oh, you liked White Zombie, here's the new Danzig record, right? And you might be into that. You might
like it.
The new Danzig covers record, by the way, is going to be awesome, but that's for another time. So what I said is, I was like, all right, if we can do a list which is something that you would want to be on, because if you weren't on it, you would actually miss something great. An email or a list where you go, wow, this is amazing. So what we decided to do, and we partnered with the great people at record label RCRDLBL to do it, is to
send out great emails.
Their
daily downloads are awesome.
Yeah, they send a lot of good music out every single week. So if you don't belong,
good curation of music.
Yeah, if you don't belong to the record label list already to get your MP3s every day, it's so good. You're blowing it. But also, please come join the record deals list, because we're only going to mail that list when we have something great and when we have something that's cheap. So those are the two things. It's
inexpensive.
Something. Well, it's got to be a better deal than you can get somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like this Band of Horses thing is a great example. This box has been available for a while. It was a lot more than this. It didn't include a T-shirt. Like, this is a great deal on a great product. Incredible music. It's like
awesome record.
It's worth having. So anyway, the point behind this thing is that we're only going to send to this when we have something we like. I've seen some other ones. I'm on one of them that's done by somebody else who shall remain unnamed. It looks like they just cobble something together every day. It's like, oh shit, we got to get another email out. So go grab that, Barbra Streisand record and put it together with something else, and that's a deal. It's like, no, dude, that's a way to get me to unsubscribe from your list, right? Like, when you send me 25 things and I don't want any of them, unsubscribe. So we're only gonna, bring really cool stuff. We've got a pipeline of really good stuff already.
How often is it gonna be?
I don't know.
Just however often we have.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now weekly, but I'm really more concerned that every email you get is good
Right.
than I am with the frequency.
Got it.
If it was less time, if it was more time and they were all awesome, killer. If it was less time and they were all awesome, that's fine too. I just want the stuff to be great.
Can you talk about anything coming up?
I'm not sure if I should, because one thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to give an advantage to people who are on the list.
Right.
I want people on the list to get first crack at it. Like if we have limited edition of something in limited quantities, I want people on the list to get it first. Then if it's sold out, it's sold out. So go get on the list, and you know we'll send you good stuff. All right.
So it looks like we got a bunch of nerds in the chat. Some sort of little Justin TV troll spam thing.
No, I'm sure I'm blaming Charlie.
Yeah.
What's up, Charlie? It's good to see you.
You know, if you say that, he only gets stronger.
No, Charlie's a friend. He just has a bunch of people who love him.
Oh.
So I'm sure these are all Charlie fans.
Clearly.
What's up, guys? I had dinner with Charlie Puth last. What night was that, Charlie? Last Wednesday. Charlie called me a racist, which is not true.
What?
I think I might have called him a racist first. I can't exactly remember. B, Charlie absolutely corrupted a 14-year-old boy. He taught him things he shouldn't have taught him. Last Wednesday. Yeah, I can't remember what else. But it was a special time. I liked my special time with Charlie. And then Charlie pretended he was getting an iPad immediately after. He even wrote me an email, and at the bottom of it wrote like "sent from my iPad," and I still don't believe it. So anyway.
So haven't seen too many other questions, but do you want to talk for a second about the podcast that you recorded yesterday, Ian?
Sure. All right. So yesterday we had, let's see. Yesterday Michael Bramvold invited me to be on his podcast, and I think that that there's a little picture of that there. So if you go over to that, you can listen to it. He had done a podcast the week before talking about e-commerce. I followed up on it in our forums, community.topspin.net, and so then Michael invited me on. We had a nice little talk yesterday, and he put it up. So thanks, Michael, for having us on. If you're interested, go over there, listen, subscribe to Michael's podcast. It's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna turn and ask Charlie, can you call off the dog dudes?
Oh, there's a real question about the email. Are we getting close to improvements on the email?
We're working on it. I mean, I think we're still a few weeks away, but it's Adam and Luca are actively working on it right now. It's going to be great. So they're working on it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. It is happening. All right. Let's see. Thanks to Danny for dropping the Michael Bramvold link in there. It's good to see you, man. All right.
Where do you want to take us next, Ian?
Well, let's talk to Brad for a minute. I want to ask. I like just watching this scroll.
I know, it's so funny.
Yeah, but people don't like watching you watching them.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm kind of
quickly
enjoying it.
losing market share.
All right.
Ignore them.
All right. So, Mr. Barrish,
Yes.
thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having
just,
me.
You know, we talked about the demos earlier, but that's obviously not your main gig.
That
here.
is not my main gig.
So what is it that you do here at Topspin?
I work on, we have, in case anybody is wondering, we have various teams in different parts of the U.S. and the world, frankly. So I work on the West Coast. We've got a team of people in New York. We have somebody in Nashville. Got somebody, Shamal, our co-founder, and Jesse in London, heading up our international. So I work on the LA team. I oversee sales for the LA side, and work on the sales and services side of things. So what I do on a daily basis is really helping our team a little bit on the services side, but really trying to get new business going. So I'm talking to artists, labels, and managers all day, every day. It may be something that comes in as a, as an email from somebody else introducing us to somebody, or maybe me actively going out and talking to labels and managers and kind of keeping in touch with people, making sure that people are educated about all the features that we have coming up, talking about our touring and our membership business and what we're doing in there in particular. And that's really what I do on a daily basis. I mean, it really.
And how long have you been here now?
A little over 2 years now.
And what's the biggest challenge, like when you're talking to an artist or manager about getting them to understand, not just Topspin, but just direct to consumer in general? Like what's the sentiment of people kind of when they walk in the door? Like
right.
how much do they understand or even want to do
Yep.
direct to consumer as part of their overall business?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that probably the biggest challenge is getting their head around the education, right? Because it really isn't like a kind of sprinkle some direct to consumer on your campaign and it just works kind of thing. Like, I think the misconception that a lot of people have is that it's kind of it's like magic. It just like works, and when you're doing direct to consumer, like people just come to you. I think that they find it really interesting about how much work it actually takes, and that they do probably need to be working with somebody, or they need to have some time to do it themselves. But really doing all the email acquisition up front, like that's always like, it seems like a really obvious thing to do, but so many people just want to throw up, an offer page and be like, well, I want to launch my store tomorrow. And so really getting their head around the complexity of the Topspin system and how flexible it is and what you can actually do with it. And the targeted email thing is like a big, like, they're like, whoa, when they see that. Being able to slice and dice your fan base with the wrap leaf data and all that is really, really interesting to them. But I think the challenge is really getting them over the education hump and getting their kind of head around everything that's possible. I think they come in with one single idea of like, all right, maybe I'm off a label now, or I want to do something on my own, so I can just put that out, right? And it really is about just educating them on the process of it.
And tell me about the sort of helping them with a forecast as a tool to getting them to understand that.
Yeah, that's another great one too, because I think a lot of artists, big and small, have certain expectations in their head about how something is going to go when they start doing direct to consumer. And so we actually came up with a long time ago, I think probably before I even started here, maybe right after, but we have a spreadsheet that's available in our knowledge base. If you go to docs.topspin.net, and it's the product pricing analysis spreadsheet. And it's basically an Excel spreadsheet that takes all of these different variables, whether it's credit card processing, all these different fees, all of the bandwidth fees, credit card processing fees, and you can basically input all of your cost of goods, put in your bundles, and then play with the numbers a little bit. So you can see like what your margin's going to be if you price it at X or price it at Y. And then you can go over and actually adjust things based on the number of emails you have in your email database, the traffic that you have to your website, number of followers on Twitter, Facebook, etc. So all of that goes into this machine, and then the machine kind of spits out a normal, conservative, and aggressive number on units, and also number on dollars that you're going to see. And what's really, I think, a very eye-opening thing is how much the email actually can affect that overall. So let's just say that you come to us and you're a fairly well-known artist, you've got 10,000 emails, but if you tripled your email list in, let's just say, a period of a month or 2 months or whatever,
which is doable,
which is totally doable, you can really see a big difference between what you'd make with that 10,000 and what you'd make with the 30,000 emails.
Right.
So it can have a big impact.
And the forecast sheet gives you it shows you that and shows you how your activities will actually make you more money.
Exactly.
Very explicitly, and it also tells people up front. I mean, I think the experience I've had with the forecasting sheet a number of times is, people looking at it and going, "Whoa, that's not as much money as I thought it was going to be." But then you can move the conversation into, let's talk about what the things are that are going to move the needle there. Like you said, it might be email, It might be, you know, Facebook or something else. So
Yeah.
you can get a sense of that.
And I think it's also about, like, you know, we always talk about demand generation versus demand fulfillment, and I think that's a hump too, right? It's like people are so used to kind of, they've got one fan base that they've been working with for maybe quite a long time, but to really broaden that and try and convert like some of those friends that they have on Facebook or whatever to emails can be really impactful. They may have 100,000 friends on Facebook, but if you converted a quarter of those into emails, that could really make a huge difference.
Right. Yeah. Well, it can actually make a difference in dollars.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And what's your sense of kind of the state of the union in working, you know, with artists that are on labels, off labels, etc. You know, we've kind of been through, you know, when we started the company, you know, everyone said we were a label alternative.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, we've worked with a lot of labels.
Yeah.
Some labels do it on their own. Some, you know, we've kind of got the entire array of relationships at this point with labels. Some who use us heavily, some who don't use us at all, and some of them who are in the middle.
Yep.
You know, what's your sense at this point, like just sort of the state of the union between, you know, when you're coming into an artist relationship and they are on a label, big or small. You know, how difficult is that at this point?
It's really not difficult anymore. I think especially since, you know, we've kind of integrated the split accounting on the back end for enterprise customers, that it's become kind of a non-issue. And since we work with all of the majors in some capacity or another, we work with some of the biggest indies in the world and a lot of smaller indies. We've just, I mean, over the last 2 years that I've been here, a lot of what I've been doing is really working with, you know, indie labels or artists that can kind of be that into an indie label to really educate them about, you know, what Topspin really is. Because I think to your point, a lot of labels that have been around for a long time and may have been aware of us when we first came out, and like, I think there was a lot of misconception about us being kind of a label killer kind of thing, still have that mentality. A lot of smaller labels do, because they just haven't come in contact with us so much. But when it comes down to talking to them about what we can do and what we can offer and how we can actually help indie retail and also give the fans what they want, and it doesn't have to be competing offers, like having a label offer over here and then an artist offer over here that compete with one another and have different products that confuses the fan, I think they really start to see the value. And they're still going to get paid, you know, what they were always going to get paid on those products. We can pay them directly. We don't have to pay the artist. And so if there are complex relationships, you know, on the merch side or the label side or whatever, like, we can parse all that stuff out. It's not a problem. I mean, we've really gotten that down to a science. We've got a great finance team that's really, you know, taking charge of that. So
yeah, we've definitely put a lot of work into making that good and making that okay. And
that's a big difference than what a lot of, you know, the other people in the space can do. And I think that labels really appreciate that and see that as being valuable.
Right. Okay, tell me a little bit about the membership product and how artists are viewing it. I think that tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels to me like we've got some artists that are smaller artists, like Jim Noir, you know, who are running these membership campaigns. And then you've got these big things, you know, the kind of the Linkin Parks of the world that run, you know, big membership campaigns. But it feels like there could be a lot more to be done there. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think the challenge for smaller artists with membership things are?
Well, I think the common misconception, and I don't really obviously know how big of a misconception it is, but I think when you think of fan clubs and memberships, you think of big artists that have a really big fan base, and I think that smaller artists don't really. I think it's kind of the antiquated view of what fan clubs were, right? It's like the Kiss Army and that sort of thing. Like, Why would a small artist possibly need something like that? But the truth is that there are lots of things that you can do, and I think Jim Noir is a really good one. Some of the stuff that we're starting to do with Tiny Chat is also a really interesting aspect to it. So what Jim Noir is doing is he's basically come up with a low-price subscription service where you can pay a flat fee every month and basically get special releases that are only available for people that have that membership. So in his case, it's, I think, £2.99, and his fan base is largely in the UK. So if you're paying $3 a month and you get everything he releases, and he's actively releasing things, you know, every single month, that's kind of a big deal if you're a fan of what he's doing. And you don't need that many people to be on that fan, you know, paying for that fan club or that membership for it to make a difference to the artist.
Yeah, to get some nice recurring revenue.
Exactly. And because you can gate products behind that membership, you could do something as complex as what Lincoln Park does with a multi-tiered membership, where you get one level membership if you buy something from them. They've got a $10 a month membership and a $60 a year membership. So you can also, with the, you know, back to the Tiny Chat thing, you could basically come up with the ability to pre-sell. You do ticketing. So we're doing 10% of your tickets. You do an album pre-order plus a gated Tiny Chat. So maybe the band gets together in one room, one day, and the only people that get to talk to the band are people that have paid for that membership, and that membership is actually free when you purchase that album with the ticket or something. You know, you could do something as simple as that. Right. So it doesn't have to be a very high cost thing, but using that to kind of gate some sort of product behind it, whether it's a cool T-shirt or specific offer for, you know, music or whatever. I mean, sky's the limit. If you can describe it and upload it to a server, I mean, you can gate it behind that membership, or, you know, sell it on Topspin, whatever. So I think there's just a lot of flexibility, and it's really about getting creative.
Yeah.
And I think that different artists are going to have, you know, different types of success with it. But I mean, for me, I just want to start exploring it with like smaller artists to see what we can do, to start doing some test cases. So if you guys have ideas about, you know, what we can do on the membership front, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to anybody about that.
Yeah, and we have. I think one of the things that makes it interesting that you alluded to is that, you know, you can bundle that membership with anything.
Yeah.
So the membership really could be free with the download of an album.
Exactly.
And that's what the Dandy Warhols did essentially, which I thought was really cool. Is that they actually, you know, sold a membership, but they never called it membership. They never called it fan club. What they did is they said, when you buy our album at this price, you're going to get a poster. You're going to get entered to win this really cool effects pedal. It's one of a kind effects pedal, and we're going to give you B-sides and live stuff from the tour, right? So what they did is they used a membership construct to just kind of give ongoing value to people who came and bought their direct consumer offer. Mm-hmm. So I think you're right. It is about creativity, and it's about artists. You definitely should not be thinking about like, wait, should I really make something like the Bon Jovi fan club? Like, is that my goal? Like, no, I think it's a tool that you should be saying, well, how can I use this creatively so that I have a year-round relationship with my fans instead of a once-a-year relationship with my fans?
That's right. And I think also to that point, surfacing those offers that are gated behind the membership on your regular offer page is actually really valuable, because it's basically you're asking people to log in, and then you can upsell them on the opportunity to actually get that stuff. So if they want it, it's very easy to actually get that stuff and join at the same time.
Right. How are we doing on time, Jason? What's the time?
It's about 11:43. We've got a couple of questions if you wanted to, if there's anything else you want to get to, and then we can hit those and
okay, I want to ask,
releases.
Perfect. I want to ask Brad one more question. The you mentioned ticketing. What, you know, the Topspin ticketing runs the gamut from, you know, like the show Zoe's doing tonight. My daughter is putting on a show at her college tonight. If you go to WMBRlive.com, you can see it. The tickets are actually only on sale for a couple more hours because the show is tonight. But so that's very DIY. She has what they call four-walled an event. She's literally in a public square on her campus, but with some security. So she's using iPhones and Topspin ticketing to let people into that.
Awesome.
But we also have done, you know, Eminem at Yankee Stadium, right? So, you know, what are you finding? You know, what are you finding as you're talking to artists about what they want to do with ticketing? What's kind of the state of the union on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of artists find it super appealing to bundle either an exclusive piece of merch or music with the tickets, because I think it's a really easy way to upsell somebody on something, and they generally discount that T-shirt or the music that gets bundled with the ticket, and then also offering the tickets in a way that is, you know, has fewer fees to fans. That's really appealing.
We can show the Modest Yahoo example.
Yeah, exactly. Jason, you can throw up the Modest Yahoo example up there. That's something that just launched recently with our friends at Oniricom did that. they've been working with Modest Yahoo for a while. So I think if you can buy, I think it's with a, what is it? Just a regular is it a T-shirt and a ticket offer?
It's a T-shirt and ticket, and the T-shirt is 20% off what you would pay at the show if you bought it at the merch booth.
So it's a really easy way to, to sell things alongside tickets, and offer tickets to your fans and directly from you. And I think a lot of fans feel better about buying it directly from the artist than they might elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so it's really appealing from a fan standpoint. The artist feels good about being able to offer something exclusive to their fans before other people. Typically, it's some sort of exclusive pre-sale on the artist site before the public on sale, and so it's been received really well. I think it's, again, a lot of education, getting people used to the idea of selling tickets, and they may say, oh, well, we're already selling with Ticketmaster. But the truth is that we can still work with the 10% of your fan club allotment or whatever and sell those tickets. And the bonus is that you know who those fans are immediately. So you can follow up with them after the show saying thank you, offer them something special. Maybe you record an acoustic track or something during sound check and give that to them as a thank you, something like that. But it really does. It's about training your fans over and over again with these offers to try and get them used to coming to you for the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, there's something really interesting about the Modest Yahoo offer. It says that you get an instant download, and if when you bring the ticket to the show, if you bought online, there's a mystery gift for you.
Very cool.
It's something you can only get if you bought the ticket through the artist's website.
Yep.
And it's enticing because you don't even know what it is. But that sometimes offers like that, mystery offers, can be more compelling than when you know what it is. You're like, oh, it could be, a pot of gold. I don't know.
It might be. That would actually be amazing. Delivered by a leprechaun. There are a couple things that set Topspin ticketing apart. One is that it is self-service, so you can come in and set up your own shows really easily. So if you wanted to do a house party or a living room show or a listening party or just a velvet rope area at your show, you could do that really easily all by yourself. You can choose to have the fee all in, so you can have kind of all in pricing if you wanted to make the ticket flat rate. Joe Pug did his $10 tour, which his fans really loved. Also, the bundling is unique, as Brad was mentioning. Just the ability to put digital, physical, membership, etc., all together into one package and have the accounting work. It's one thing that we do, on our larger tours. We actually will, we pay promoters directly, and we pay those promoters in their local currency too. So if your show is in Canada, we pay them in Canadian dollars, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but you lose a lot of money when you go through that currency conversion if you don't. And there was one more thing. Oh, I just wanted to mention that reiterate what Brad said, which is the finding out who your fans are, getting the information on that fan, knowing that was a ticket purchaser
in a particular region,
exactly,
yeah,
is super valuable data that you should own if you can. So, I'd love to see more of you guys doing creative things with the ticketing app as well. So,
and the app is free, so
yeah,
no reason.
Well, the iPhone app is something that no one else has. Period. So.
Exactly.
And one last note on tickets. You guys might already be aware that we have these series of how-to videos. You can find them in the app, and you can also find them at Vimeo.com/Topspin. If you click on albums here, you can go to our album of how-to videos. We just finished editing today, and we'll be uploading this afternoon a step-by-step how-to video on how to create tickets in Topspin.
Perfect. That's awesome. Do you have how to redeem the tickets in there as well with the
iPhone
scanner?
Yeah, no, we're going to do a separate video for the ticket scanner soon, but this 6-minute video will totally demystify how you can create tickets in Topspin. It makes it really easy for you to learn how to set it all up. So check our Vimeo page in about 2 hours, and you'll find that how-to video there.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason.
Great.
All right, well, let's answer a couple questions, and then we'll
Yeah. Someone named Music Biz Prof asks, how difficult is the Google Analytics certification exam? Do you recommend going through the process of preparing for that exam and learning, going through Google's certification process in order to use Topspin better?
It's a good question. I actually don't know how hard it is. I haven't taken it myself.
Me neither.
Basically, and really, I think the bigger question is there a big hurdle to jump over in terms of a learning curve to use Google Analytics with Topspin?
Yeah, not really. I mean, if you just put Google Analytics on your page, and in Google Analytics you need to enable the e-commerce feature. But if you do that, then you'll start getting the data, and it's not too hard to figure out what's going on there. I would imagine that doing something like taking that course would be a good idea overall, though. Because
AppSumo just had that. Remember that?
Yeah, I
that
saw
really
that. Yeah,
great
you sent
class.
that around. Yeah, AppSumo has some good classes as well. I mean, look, this stuff is new. We just had last week somebody come in and give us a little bit of a tutorial on search engine marketing, and because there's a lot of stuff going on in that space right now. It's changing really quickly, so we got an update on that ourselves last week. So I would still recommend taking the class, because I think what you want to do is you'll start to learn how people are ending up on your website, and then you'll figure out how to scale it from there. I mean, I know, even just working with Get Busy Committee, the reason that I did what I did to the lyrics pages, I did it because I was looking at Google Analytics and I saw how many people were coming to my site based on lyrics searches. So I actually made new lyrics pages. I merchandised my products along the sides. That was a change that I made just because I looked at Google Analytics and went, wow, even for this relatively small band, I'm getting a lot of traffic to the site based on lyric searches, so I'm going to optimize for that. A, I want to get more of those. I want to be the #1 search result for lyrics for this band, and when they land on this page, A, I want to give them the lyrics. B, I want to let them know that we've got some music for sale.
Someone asked where they can find the forecasting sheet. Is that...
Yeah, go to the knowledge base, docs.topspin.net, and it's called what?
Product pricing analysis.
So if you search
product pricing, you'll find it.
Yeah, search product pricing at docs.topspin.net.
Yep.
And you'll find it.
Yep.
There's a whole page there.
Chandler from Music Geek asks, do you think there's a critical mass in terms of quantity of emails where the membership or fan club offer makes sense?
That's a really good question.
Wow.
I hadn't thought about it, Chandler. It's a great question.
That is a good question.
I think even if you have, it depends on what you're trying to do with it, because what you don't want to do is start a fan club, not sell any, and then have to keep it up for nobody being there.
Yeah.
You commit to, okay, I'm going to do this every month, and then you're doing it for 5 people. It's probably not the best use of your time. So it's a good question. Maybe we should come back to you on that, because I think what you would want to know, if you're really going to think scientifically or empirically about this, you'd want to know, of a fan base, how many people are likely to become fan club members. So if we had some good data on conversion to fan club members, then you could do your own math based on what it is you were doing.
I would encourage you to actually even do something like a SurveyMonkey survey to your fan base, and maybe even just ask them, like, well, if we had, such and such a fan club, what would we do?
Yeah, exactly.
Here comes our mascot.
Yeah.
Hey,
Special
hey, Parker.
What's up, Parker?
Grab a chair and come in. Does anybody have questions for Parker?
Jesus.
People are always asking for Parker to be on the webcast, so now you got him. You have any questions for him?
Get him in there.
Howdy. I can't.
So, yeah, Parker, your turn. There are a couple
Hey
other
guys,
questions.
what's up, man?
Hey Parker, how are you, man?
Good to see
What's
you.
happening?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. That's a nice one, dude.
In the house.
Thanks.
So there are a couple other questions about foreign currencies. Someone asked, how do you pay promoters in foreign currencies? And someone else asks, news on billing in Brazilian real.
So no news on billing in Brazilian.
No.
We do get that. You know what? It's funny because we do get that question a lot. I've actually received it from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we get that there's like a handful of other currencies that people ask about.
Well, it's definitely on the list, so we'll continue to look into it. Yeah. What
do you got there, dude?
Red Bull vodka.
It is almost noon.
It is almost.
Wow.
So.
Were you driving with that?
Yeah, of course. Just keep for the club.
Yeah. The other question was, how do we pay promoters in foreign currency? So the way that we're doing it is, if you're selling tickets in foreign currency, if you're selling anything in foreign currency, we actually drop that into a bank account in that currency,
And we keep it there. And if there are people, if you are an enterprise customer, and there are people who need to be paid in that foreign currency, might even be you, then we'll do it. We'll pay you out of that account. It's really important. I mean, you can lose 7, 8, 9% just on the conversion otherwise, because you'll lose it both directions. You'll lose it converting from pounds into dollars and dollars back into pounds. It's just not worth it. I frankly don't know of any other company in our space that does that. That will split the payments and pay somebody else and do it in multiple currencies.
There's another payment-related question. Someone asks, do you guys handle every aspect of handling the money from taking ticket money to issuing refunds?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
We do. We take the money in, and if refunds need to be issued, it gets refunded back out. We have our own e-commerce platform. We built it on top of our current what is it? What's the right word? It's a payment processor, I guess.
Global Collect
is a company called
Yeah.
Global Collect. They're integrated with. We have an integration with PayPal. Additionally, my goal is that I think that as we look at supporting multiple currencies or new currencies, there are obviously other foreign currencies like the one that was asked about a minute ago. But I think you can look at there's other currencies coming, like Facebook credits is a currency. Doesn't work for physical goods yet, but it will, and we'll be on top of that. And then there's other. I want to be able to take other payment types as well. Amazon, Google.
Yeah.
Those things are not easy to do. It's not high on our list of to-do items right now, but that's definitely where the payment things should go. Also, other creative things like Square. Chris, our VP of Engineering, and I had a conversation about a simple integration with Square, squareup.com if you haven't seen it, that we'd like to get rolling as well.
One of the questions that I often get asked is, when are we going to have a solution to do a physical on-site while people are on tour?
I think Square is the right way to do that. So, if we have enough call for it, then we can move it up the stack. But
what about Monopoly money? Would we be accepting that in the future if someone asks?
That's actually a good idea. Maybe not Monopoly, but the money from the Mad Magazine game, I think, is actually probably worth. Any currency with Alfred E. Newman on it is okay by me.
Will we accept payment in rare baseball cards?
No, but I actually did. It's funny because I put in the FAQ that I can't remember. Topspin Plus costs X dollars or one Kid Rock trading card from the 90s. Somebody actually hit me up and said, where do I send my trading card?
Wow.
So I sent him my address, and I will for sure honor that, because I don't have one of those, and I've always kind of wanted one, which is why if that thing comes in the mail, that will really be a power of the internet story. And I'll have to change the FAQ to something else that I've always wanted. Right. I don't know, what will it be?
There's a great question about the
an ice shaver.
Ah. Yeah. There's a question about the new streaming player. They say it only currently shows 2 tracks with the scroll bar. Can it be tweaked so you can see all of the tracks listed like the old player? Is that a Bob question? Do we know much about that?
I don't know what's going to happen with the new one.
Yeah, the new one is on
being improved.
The new one comes on the 23rd. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that changes there. I'm sorry, we don't have Greg Ip. Unless Greg Ip is in the chat room, we don't have an answer to that. But we'll get one.
Let's see. There was another great question. Let's see. Where would it go? It disappeared. Oh, here's one. Someone says they've been researching Topspin for a while, but they've heard they think we're cool, but they've heard that sometimes it takes a while for merch to ship out. How do we deal with frustrated customers?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. If you have the merch, it doesn't take long for it to ship at all. It'll ship the next day. So let me tell you about how fulfillment works with Topspin. You can send your stuff to us and we'll ship it for you.
That's by default.
Or you can ship it yourself. Or you could use one of our integrated third parties to ship with if you wanted to. So we take the order immediately and give it to the fulfiller. If it's our fulfiller and your product is on the shelf, then it ships out immediately. It'll ship out within 24 hours. Now, if you're shipping and it takes a while, then we will direct that email to you, because when we get the query that says where's my stuff, our answer honestly is, well, we don't know because we're not shipping it, you are.
and we send that note to you, and hopefully you get back to that customer right away. If it's us shipping it, though, to answer your question on how we deal with frustrated customers, we have a great customer support team. I really think it's the biggest in our space by a long shot, and they deal with all kinds of customer issues all day long, and oftentimes, like, even really well-meaning, and well set up, artists and campaigns have issues. For example, Beastie Boys record, the vinyl ships in 2 weeks, and that's only one batch of vinyl. The great news is we sold a lot of vinyl. The bad news is they had to order a second batch. We clearly said on the website, vinyl ordered today will not ship until July, but you know what? People don't read, people don't know, you need to answer those questions when the questions come. You have to have great customer support, which we try to do. So to get at the heart of your question, though, it's a really good question, because how this fulfillment works was not obvious to us when we started, and we've gotten here with a lot of work and a lot of trial and error, and it really is a pretty difficult problem when you think about it. It's an Amazon marketplaces or an eBay scale problem, right? We don't ship everything. So when a customer has a complaint, first question is, who do they ask?
Right.
And we've tried to make that very clear for the customer. If you have a problem with your download, you go here. If you're wondering where your stuff is, you go here. That always goes to the person who is shipping the stuff. Now, to take that burden off of you, because we assume and we hope that you're working on your art and you're out there touring, and you are not in the fulfillment business, you can have us do it and we'll take care of it soup to nuts. But if you do it yourself, then you really, 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 really need to be on top of that. You need to ship stuff out quick and go. Any issues around, that are out there around Topspin stuff doesn't ship quickly has to do with artists, not Topspin.
Yeah, and the salesman in me wants to mention that the fulfillment that Topspin does is no additional percentage, right?
Correct.
We're not charging extra. You pay a simple, per item receiving fee, and if you're storing stuff in our warehouse, you pay a small fee too, and that basically just protects us from, having people drop off a box of stuff and never sell through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Cool. So I put out a last call for questions. We got a couple of really good ones. One person asks if they have any plans to integrate with flavors.me.
It's a good question. We have been speaking to them and would like to. So I actually spoke with Jonathan over there about a week and a half ago, and thanks for reminding me. I will email. I owe him an email, so I will talk to those guys again. It's a great product.
Love what they do.
We love
it's
flavors.me.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
And we love about.me as well.
Yep.
They're cool products, even though one of them is owned by AOL.
This is a practical question.
I used to work at AOL. I can hate if I want.
This is a pretty practical question. Someone says they have an artist who's getting a lot of YouTube hits and wants to know what we think the best way is to grab those fans. They have right now. They have
Charlie asking that question.
No, it's someone named Hannah Parfit.
Oh, hi Hannah. I see you on Twitter.
Nice. Yeah, they have a link to their Topspin integrated verb store on that YouTube page, but they wonder if there's any better way to capture YouTube views into fans.
What a timely question, since we just worked on that with the Beastie Boys this last week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and actually our hack for Hack Day is hopefully gonna get us there as well. I got to be honest. I don't really know what exactly the best way to do it is. I think you can get those links up there. I actually would ask Charlie. I don't know if Charlie's still in the room, but this is one of the reasons that I want to work closely with Charlie, is because I want to get Charlie is a very successful YouTube artist, and I want to get his his insight as well on what the best way to move people from YouTube over is. There's also a couple of proprietary things that we're trying to do that I actually don't want to say here just yet, because I don't want to spill the beans on anything that's kind of secreted in the lab. But it's definitely something that we're working hard to do. I mean, look at the Beastie Boys stuff; it's had millions of hits, and we've tried pretty hard to move people from Facebook from YouTube over to the pre-sale, and frankly, we've done a pretty good job because we sold out of all that vinyl.
Right.
It's been a really successful campaign, and that video has a hell of a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I'll also say one other thing we were successful in doing. They did a big premiere with MTV with that, and MTV was very kind and helped us drive a lot of traffic to BeastieBoys.com from that. So generally speaking, you definitely want to drive people to your website rather than to iTunes or Amazon from something like that if you have, some good packages there. But it's all about what real estate does Amazon give you to do it. I'm going to mention the Hack Day thing.
Go for it.
Because we're going to talk about it tomorrow anyway. So
okay,
I don't think it really matters. We're trying to create something very cool for Music Hack Day tomorrow. Tomorrow is Music Hack Day in San Francisco. And we've been trying to figure out, what can we start on building over the weekend that will be really valuable for the space overall. What we've decided to try to build is a buy button that's controlled by the artist. It's not specific to Topspin. You want to put one of Topspin's competitors, you want to link to one of Topspin's competitors in there, fine. What we're really trying to do is to make it so the artist can choose where the buy button links to. And these would be the kinds of buy buttons that would be on a blog, in a radio player like Accu Radio or Pandora, or on YouTube. YouTube has built-in Amazon and iTunes buttons, and they don't have any button to buy direct from artists, right? So I think a great way for us collectively as a direct-to-consumer, as people who are interested in seeing more move into the direct-to-consumer channel, is to provide those types of outlets with a buy button, which has some defaults, but also allows the artist to say, you know what, right now I want all this traffic to go here. And it might be that, for 6 weeks before the pre-sale on iTunes, you want it all to go to your direct-to-consumer, and for the 2 weeks around your launch, you want it to go to iTunes because you want to try to get some chart position on iTunes, but that should be something that you, as an artist or a marketer, have control over. So we're going to build it as an independent third-party site. I registered a bunch of domains this week so that we can choose from. It's not going to be Topspin specific. We would love to have other folks in the space help us build it. So if you're going to be at Music Hack Day tomorrow or know somebody who is, please come join us in the effort to do that. You going to be up there, Parker?
I don't think I'm going to be up there.
Oh, jeez. I knew the answer to that. I just wanted to harass you. All right, are we out of time?
We have two more questions. One is from someone named TM Reed. I don't know who the hell that is.
TM Reed.
One of those leftover
TM
spammers.
Reed.
Isn't that Reed TM?
Possibly.
Yeah.
He asks, when Brad's hair is as long as Ian's, will Ian shave his head like Brad used to? And the transformation will be complete.
Yeah, they're actually. Do you have the Play-Doh barbershop thing? Yeah, you are lacking hair in this group right here.
I've come a long
He's
way.
I thought he was bald.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a toupee.
And here's a really, really great question from one of our viewers who I think just jumped in for the first time today. Who has the better beard, Parker or Zach Galifianakis?
Oh.
Parker.
That's
we should
a
put
good
a
question.
monkey survey.
Parker by far.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but we should ask the fans. And I think that is all the questions we've got. Anything else you want to shout out? Next week at NARM, we've got a couple of people there.
Oh yeah, man. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I don't know. So here's the deal. I'm going to Music Hack Day. I'm going to San Francisco in a couple of hours, and I'm going to Music Hack Day tomorrow. Sunday, I'm flying to London, and I'm going to be with Shamal in London, and we have a bunch of stuff going on. And to be honest, like so much, I can't even remember what all it is.
There's a meetup on Wednesday.
Yeah, help me out. A Stronghold. Stronghold in Shoreditch. So if you come on out, we're also going to have, and I won't say when or where because it's special and private, but only for people who are Topspin customers in London. We're going to have a special meet and greet there. So if you're not part of that, then
Still time to sign up.
there's
Right?
still time to sign up. Although Jason's going to send that email probably if he hasn't sent it already. So we're going to do that. We have a meetup at the Stronghold. I'm going to do a little talk for the MMF, the Music Managers group over there. We're doing something else, doing something at the PRS. There is more, and I'm forgetting it all. And we're going to be at the Great Escape. So Will Page from the PRS and Andrew Dubber and I are going to sit and talk about what is the post-MySpace world at the Great Escape. And then next week is also SF Music Tech, which we're not doing anything in particular there, but there is we're gonna have some of us will be there. I won't be there, but others will be there. And there's a party Monday night that Ticketfly is throwing. I encourage everyone to go to Ticketfly's party. I don't have any invites or anything, but I think if you just mail info at Ticketfly and say, hey, I really want to come to your party.
Yeah.
Come on, they can't say no, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So definitely go to that. And then next week is NARM, which is the National Association of Record Merchants. And believe it or not, it's an international organization, which I always think is funny. And it's here in LA, Universal City. Bob
I don't
is.
think isn't it in Century City actually? This
Oh,
year?
is it?
It's at I feel like it's at the hotel in Century City.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. We'll go to
I don't
NARM's
know. I
website
could
and
be
check it
wrong.
out. Bob, who you usually see sitting here, is going to be on the. They call it the Crash Course. It's actually really cool. I did it last year in Chicago, and it's really cool. It's meant for artists who want to learn, artists of any size who want to learn. So because they have all these great people in town for NARM, Rich Bengloff from 80IM puts together a great panel, which is just like a music business crash course. It's a one-day thing. So if you have any interest in just getting a one-day crash course in the music business, it's a really great event that's here in LA. And then we'll just be around NARM. What else is going on at NARM? That I forgot about?
Wednesday, me and Andrew Maines are both speaking on 2 different panels on marketing in the afternoon.
Killer.
And I've got some one-on-one. What is?
Oh, you're doing the one-on-ones?
I don't know. It's in my calendar.
Yeah.
You invited me.
Okay. Those are for independent labels.
Oh, okay.
So what it is A2IM puts it on, and they have all the independent labels come and just sort of move from
cool.
table. It's
All
like
right.
speed dating
Oh, right.
with independent labels.
All right.
It's really awesome, actually.
Cool.
I did it last
Cool.
year in
All right.
Chicago.
So I guess I'm doing that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Just finally, how was the event on Wednesday night, the Music Tech event in LA?
It was great.
Oh,
It
that
was
was
super
great.
fun.
Good tacos at Malo.
I missed the tacos.
Oh, they were good.
I missed the whole thing.
Yeah,
No, it was nice seeing a bunch of people out though.
it was great.
Was it
Friends from Silverback, the Culture Jam guys, Digistar, Carrie and Rinda.
was it crowded?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
packed.
was packed.
It went off.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so
Yeah,
that's
do it for
that's a
this
lot of
week.
fun. All right, thanks everybody.
See you later.
Thanks. Have a
Thank
great
you,
weekend.
guys.